Big brands is also about dreaming big.
Yeah.
So it's like blue sky thinking. It's really important how you use that power, and more importantly, how you build yourself to a powerful position. Till you don't understand content and you're not able to have a content strategy in place and look at things from different angles, you will not be able to tell your story. Personal branding is so important that people do want to know who's behind the brand and who's holding that position.
Yeah.
You have to look at the success of your client as your own success. You
Yeah.
have to look at their work as a challenge that you have to overcome. Whatever you pick and make that your choice, you will start realizing and noticing everything around you more of that. Sari being our national formal dressing, the Indian dressing, is something that I would want more women to wear saris. I just want to say that if every woman is independent or feels independent, it's a big, it's a power.
Hi, Preeti, and welcome to the About Her Show, a show where we get trailblazing women to share the story of their lives with us. To tell us about their successes, failures, challenges, ups and downs, all of it, so that not only do they get a platform to showcase themselves, but they also help us inspire other women. Women who are listening in, watching the episode, who have dreams, ambitions, but for some reason have not been able to follow those dreams. And then, along with women, we also get men on the show because we believe that for a truly gender inclusive world, men and women need to be allies in this journey. Now, looking at you, your profile, and the kind of work that you've done and you're doing, it is, so fascinating to see. And again, not only fascinating, but it somehow reinforces a lot of beliefs that I have about women, their resilience, their ability to stand up to challenges, their ability to embrace different aspects of life without ever creating any kind of confusion or collision. Somehow, I think we're able to compartmentalize and do things when supposed to be done, even if they are completely diverse and different from each other. And of course, more of this will be revealed during the course of the conversation. So, without any further ado, once again, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for your kind words. And I'm so glad to be here. I think not only it's about sharing knowledge, but every time when I do that, it also opens up my mind into, my own inner self.
Yeah.
And I learn a few things about myself, which is even a greater joy and, in doing something like this. So I'm happy to be here and thank you so much once again.
You're welcome. So, let's dive in. So, all right.
Sure.
So, now, as I understand, you began your career at Genesis and
Mhm.
working with iconic brands and celebrities. Now, looking back today, what did those early years teach you about power, presence, and storytelling?
It's a good question, and I'll try to touch upon all the three
Yeah.
that you just mentioned. So, what happens when you're working with a big agency and big brands? It's kind of a given that big brands will get the exposure in the top publications, newspapers, and it is true also to a large extent. But what people don't understand and they know less about is the fact that big brands is also about dreaming big.
Yeah.
So it's like blue sky thinking. So when we are working on the campaign ideas or campaign strategy for such clients, we have to really think the impossible. We have to think about things which have never been imagined before.
Right.
And that is the hardest thing to do because this is something where you are trying to bring the wow to a client on the
Mm.
table, which also means more expectations, which also means it is actually a very tough thing with the big clients. It's not an easy thing to do at all. So you have big projects, you have big strategies on the table, and tremendous amount of pressure to live up to the expectations of executing those strategies.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not easy. It's just that the grass looks greener on the other
Yeah, yeah,
side. So, this is
yeah.
what I want to talk about the presence that, anywhere, wherever you go, the presence in that sense is hard to achieve.
Right, right.
And I have also been a part of press conferences for these kind of clients. So I'll give you an example. In one of the press conference, we were expecting somewhere around 50 to 75 people
Hmm.
talking about journalists, media,
Yeah.
and only few came, only a hand few. So it was actually a flop show.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, what happens here is the role of power kicks in. Now,
Correct.
when I say power is hold,
Hmm.
and when I'm saying power is hold, it's coming from a place of reputation. It's coming from a place of image building.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
higher you are on your image, the higher you're on your reputation, you can exercise that control. You can turn a flop show into success.
Absolutely.
I have seen that happening and many number of times. So that
Right.
is where power becomes really important, how you use that power, and more importantly, how you build yourself to a powerful position.
Okay.
So it's not just about designations. I have also experienced what you're saying about storytelling, that in the field that we are in, public relations, brands do not have breaking news every day.
Hmm. Hmm.
They don't have newsworthy information to share every single day,
Hmm.
but they have retainers locked in for a year. So how does a PR agency then make sure that the brand gets visibility and presence on
Hmm.
an ongoing basis? Now
Correct.
here, storytelling is most important. Now, when I'm saying storytelling, it's about content.
Hmm.
I've always said this, that content is king. And
Hmm.
I, even after 20 years or 25 years of my experience, I say content is still king.
Hmm.
Irrespective, there's AI and everything. Till you don't understand content and you're not able to have a content strategy in place and look at things from different angles, you will not be able to tell your story, you
Hmm.
know. And so, which is why storytelling is super important when it comes to having brands visibility, presence, whether online or offline. So I hope I answered your question when it
Absolutely.
comes to.
Very beautifully, because you brought all the three things about the presence, the power, and storytelling, and the role of each one of them. Because as you mentioned, each one is equally important, and you cannot do without any one of them. So you brought it out beautifully. Okay, so Preeti, you've seen the glamour of the industry up close. And today you sit across the table having real conversations with leaders and celebrities. Now, how has your relationship with success evolved over the years?
So back then, I'm talking about Genesis again, which is
Yeah.
Burson now. I had opportunity to be working with Sushmita Sen and Shah Rukh Khan because I had a client called Tagwar Watches and many other celebrities likewise because I was a part of the consumer entertainment division. And so obviously there were, all Lakme India Fashion Week and models and Bollywood celebrities, sportsmen, all of that.
Hmm.
And at that time, for us, glamour was about what shines and what dazzles, what's
Correct.
beauty from the outside. So when you look at a Sushmita Sen, you will say that she is a model or she is a Bollywood actress. That's it. All that she's known for.
Hmm.
You will, or the brands that she's promoting. So it
Correct.
was only about a celebrity plus brand promotions. There was no third thing. So
Hmm.
glamour was just limited to that. And for us, because we were also in days when we did not have the internet and the YouTube and the selfies and all of that. So obviously for us, just being with them, working with them, having that experience was good enough.
Hmm. Hmm.
Today, thanks to digital marketing, that people and also the fact that this whole new change is going on where people are coming up, celebrities are coming up on Instagram reels and talking about many other things.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
talking about issues. They're advocating for certain things, for example, whether it is to do with health, or they're even also talking about the lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
So they are also letting access to their own personal lives
Hmm.
in the internet space. So
Right.
what it does really is that now real conversations are happening. I
Hmm.
am not looking at a celebrity just for the beauty and just for the brand promotions that celebrity is endorsing. I am looking at beauty inside out. I'm looking at the fact that now this person, whether it is a Lisa Ray, she's talking about her cancer journey,
Yeah.
how she's a cancer survivor. She's also talking about many other things. Similarly, now Sushmita Sen is also like talking about things to motivate the younger lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I feel that now, if I or when I get an opportunity to be sitting across the table with them, I have more things to talk to them about,
Right.
which means actually deep diving into real conversations, having more depth to, and the very fact that all these celebrities, I think we should not forget that their struggle has been very difficult one too. So what success that they have achieved is been after a lot of, perseverance, hard work, everything. So when they give you that access, they also are very humble. They also share. They also say that it's okay to make mistakes, it's fine, and they give you that space. And
Right.
I think that is what their success then helps promote me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, it's having some kind of an effect on me and my success too. So glamour is now no longer just beauty on the outside, it's beauty inside out, I feel.
Absolutely. So I think what you're trying to say is it's more holistic now, more authentic now, because there is more visibility. There are more avenues for exposure. So even these celebrities are coming out and talking about real stuff. It's not just what you see on, those glossy magazine covers or something. They are talking about real stuff, how they had to struggle, because obviously we only see the end product. We don't know what the struggle has been, and it is very important to know that this success did involve a lot of struggle. And I think especially for the younger generation, it is very important to know that success didn't happen just like that. There was a lot of hard work, a lot of, how should I say, resilience, grit, determination that were required. So I think, yes, that is a very, very, how should I say, an authentic definition of success. Okay. So then, Preeti, DreamWeb India happened, right? So when you decided to, just start this, what gap did you see in the branding and digital space that led you to taking this step? And why did women leaders become such a strong focus of your work?
I've been in marketing for last more than I think 24 years now. But I started with public relations and then corporate communications and working on the agency and corporate side. Now, when I see things, I can't even begin to tell you when you ask me about gaps because there's so many of them. But let me just try to summarize, and explain this better through an example, perhaps. So, if you're looking on Instagram, we are all doing Instagram reels nowadays. It's very popular. It's algorithm led and whatnot. Think about it like this: there is a pool of 100 doctors. Okay, there's a pool of 100 life coach or motivational speakers, educators. So take anybody for that matter. Now let's talk about doctors. Now in those 100 doctors, you will find 20 or 30 doctors are very well known.
Okay.
They, like it's like you can, the minute you hear their name, you're like, oh yes, I know this doctor is from Max or this hospital or that hospital. Immediately you'll recognize that doctor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they go on Instagram, for obvious reason, because who they will have the follower, they'll have the reach, they'll have the likes, they will have the comments on whatever that they're posting, and it goes without saying.
Yeah.
Now there's also another chunk, which is another say 10, 15 doctors who are well known, maybe in their own sort of area, but not everybody knows. They're not like pan India famous or anything.
Hmm.
And these doctors, but they know that what is their personality and how to portray that personality using Instagram as a platform, and how to weave content in a particular way that will help resonate with their audience. They know their audience, they know their personality, they know what content that they want to share, they also know the path that they want to take. And therefore these doctors are doing again immensely well. So
Hmm.
lately, if you see how you see Manan Vora as a doctor who has come, or an Instagrammer like Prashant Desai, or you see many more such people. Even so now lately I saw somebody called Angry Doctor. So people are now being creative, and they're coming out, and they're consistently not just on Instagram but also on YouTube, also on LinkedIn, and they're trying to deepen this relationship online with their audience
Hmm.
by sincerely putting daily efforts on it,
Hmm.
and with a strategy in place.
Right.
And obviously when you hear these doctors, you are like, I see this doctor every day and he speaks so well, and you feel like connecting with them. But these are not the doctors like the first A-listers who you
Yeah.
want access to.
Hmm.
They have done so well in the shortest time period. So they also add to the A-listers now, right? Now, what happens to the majority which is left?
Hmm. Hmm.
Why do you think they are not cutting the mark? Why do you think they are not getting comments or engagements on Instagram? They
Hmm.
may be getting reach, they may be getting followers, no doubt. They have agencies to back them up. But why is it that they are not able to get the engagements they want?
Hmm.
Now, that is a gap.
Okay.
And why I think is that because there is absolutely zero content strategy.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
And this content strategy doesn't come from a digital marketing crash course or an agency who can give you techniques and tools or technology that do it this way, do it on a green screen, or do it in a podcast room, or do it like that. It's not like that.
Hmm.
The fact of the matter is that if you're well read, if you're reading a lot of books, if you're watching a lot of videos, if you have that experience, your ideas start flowing naturally. There
Hmm.
is a content strategy. You are able to build a framework. Now, this is missing.
Okay.
I'm very proud of people who come out and who speak and who give themselves a chance on the camera. So I actually encourage them. I don't say that you're not meant for this. I
Hmm.
say, yes, you can be meant for it maybe later on or some other day if you practice. But I also say that, guys, there is no stickiness.
Hmm.
You need to have content that sticks through, and you need to be patient to follow it through. You can't treat your agency for making just changes, or make do telling them their job or what they need to do. So I think this is the biggest gap in and I don't blame it, because now the lines are blurring.
Hmm.
PR is moved into PR. Digital marketing agencies are separate. IT companies who used to do, website development and SEO are also now doing digital marketing, social media management. So
Right.
lines are blurred completely. So I think this is a big gap that I want to put on the table, guys. There's nothing wrong with you or the content or anything. It's just that you need a content strategy which is not in place.
Absolutely. So very, very, I think critical to have that, because you have to have a structure. You have to know what is to be done and how is it to be done, when is it to be done. So strategy, like with most other, avenues of life, of existence, is very, very important here also. So very pertinent point that you put forward. So tell me, Preeti, your inspiring women interviews, of which I've also been a part, now, they've become a powerful archive of real stories. There are so many women out there. You can read about them, you can learn from their experiences. There's so much to, gain from there. Now, my question is that what was the turning point that made you say, this needs to exist and consistently?
Hmm. Thank you, Sangeeta, for everything. No, seriously. I mean, I'm so glad that we had that bond, and we were able to meet on a common ground. or which is inspiring woman. So something that I think whatever I say now, you will completely understand and be with me on it, is
Yeah.
the fact that when we do interviews, we research a lot. We
Correct.
just don't do an interview, first of all. So every interview that I've done is obviously I had to go through their all the previous interviews. Whether in a written format or a video format, I had to go through even the books I had to read, the ones that they have authored. So if somebody has written two books, I would prefer to go through the book first and then do the interview. So, which meant a lot of homework, in that sense. And when I was doing this homework, the high point really was like, why did, I have this question nobody has asked,
Hmm.
you know and so likewise I started building a set of questions which I felt that these questions, they people do ask about journeys and things, but these are few things no one has ever asked them before,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
this only came out of research.
Right.
you know and when you feel that, and when I pushed those questions out to them, it got them also thinking.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and which is why all the more reason that they wanted to do the interview with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was not just that I was pushing something down, that, okay, I want this interview, please, come on board. But it was also about that when you have something, like I said in the beginning, knowledge sharing is a two-way process.
Yeah.
I am sending out questions, that person is also thinking about it, and here we meet.
Yeah.
So this is something which is the high point. I also another thing that I tried to do, which was again a lot of hard work for me, was when you're doing interviews, it's also about expression. Some
Yeah.
people can express beautifully, like face to face. Some people can express better on a phone call because they're too busy or they're maybe out of India. Some people can prefer to write their answers down because they are already they're very good in expressing through written. And this is one thing that I let kind of open to everybody, that I am not fixated on the platform.
Hmm.
I just want these answers. I want answers from you to these questions.
Okay. Hmm.
That is more important. Here, the content is more important to me than how you give me that content, in which form you give me that content. I was okay with, again, phone calls being transcripted and then I'm going through it and two-way
Hmm.
approvals and all of that process that happened after the interview. But this is something that I just left open to, because when you're talking to somebody who's a Padma Vibhushan or someone who's an author,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
expect I would prefer to have those answers written by the person because that person is an author.
Correct.
You
Correct.
understand? Those are things. But in the end of it, what I really tried to marry in all this was my digital marketing work in DreamWeb India, was to give them a personal branding web page.
Right. Right.
So not just a LinkedIn that is a chronology of your journey in your career, but something where you can say, okay, you want to know about me? Here is a link. It has everything.
Right. 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 So I think very thoughtful, very useful, and of course, a lot of work goes behind it. It's not easy to conduct
Hmm.
interview in whatever form you may be doing. And yes, the fact that you gave your guests the option of doing it any which ways that they wanted, I think that also adds a lot of comfort to it. So yes, of course, like I said, I've been a part of it, and it was a beautiful experience. And like you said, it is something which is there. It's a record which you can tell people to refer to in case they want to know more about you. All right. So, in our lives, we come across different people who inspire us, who we want to be like, who are like role models for us. And as I understand from your profile, you've often said that Anusha Subramanian's journey deeply inspired you. So, my question is, what is it about stories like hers that ignites something deeper in you as a creator and as a woman?
So, Sangeeta with Anusha, it's very ironical, but yes, something that needs to be shared. I met Anusha some 25 years ago when I was an associate, and she was working with a top Cat A publication, and she was a journalist, a very well-known journalist. So obviously, it was hard because as a PR agent, PR associate, how we are always chasing journalists for
Yeah.
stories and things
Mm.
like that. So so yeah, she was a tough woman and difficult to crack my stories and get my stories out through her back then. We met 25 years later in a party, and now today she's a entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and we are now getting back talking, because now we have things to share, which is what it's really interesting how life brings people together,
Right,
and
right.
now we are talking at because we have similar sort of designations, you can say we both are entrepreneurs. The good thing about, or what the inspiring thing about her was that she left her full-time journalism career to start something absolutely new. And she's a trek guide. She takes people to the mountains, Everest Base Camp, Kilimanjaro treks, and many other places. She took Angmo, who was the first blind woman to scale Mount Everest.
Okay.
So she is now working with the people with disability who she feels should be included and given be able to take them for these adventure treks and trails, to the mountains, because adventure is for everybody, so she is the one who takes people with disability for these treks, and it's quite a thing, and I which is why I'm truly inspired by her. I'm inspired by Dilshad Master for what she does. Again, leaving her fat pay job, in the TV channel, and then doing something on her own. And I think now every person who takes this leap
Yeah, yeah.
fearlessly, fearlessly, and with complete conviction, complete belief in oneself, that if I have treaded a path for 40 long years or 30 long years in one area, I can again start a journey.
Yes, yes.
This is this bottom line, or this is a thread that runs across many such women who have taken that plunge.
You're right. You're right. This is something which is very, very inspiring because you see that even if they'd not been doing anything at all, I mean, in the sense in their professional, say, in the professional space, but nowadays women are taking that leap. They are, getting out of that, how should I say, that space of self doubt, underconfidence, where they are just stepping out and doing things which are different from what they have done all these years. So, yes, such stories can be really, really inspirational. So, I can totally resonate with this. All right. Now, there's another thing very interesting that you say that women, especially in their 30s and 40s, must invest in personal branding. Okay. So, my question is what holds women back from owning their stories publicly? And how can they start changing that? Because we do, like sometimes feel very hesitant, to come out into the open and talk about ourselves. So, what do you think?
So I see that if you looking at working professionals, women who are working professionals, either they are doing a job or they're running a business, one of the two.
Mm.
If they're doing a job, say if they're a vice president or a managing director or a CEO, a C-suite level job, or head of a department, they are also there are restrictions because they may have a corporate communications department in their organization, so they have their own challenges where they cannot speak up
Yeah.
about themselves for because they are in that kind of a position, and I mean I don't blame them for it. So yes, I mean it's challenging over here. The other is the woman who's an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Now, entrepreneur or running a business is a 24 by 7 job.
Yes.
All the time, only thing that you're thinking is how to promote a service and how to promote a product or how to go about doing. You're not thinking about yourself at all.
Mm.
And these are people who don't even have their LinkedIn profiles updated.
Okay.
They don't even have the time that if there's a collaboration, a marketing collaboration, or somebody interested, they can drop an email from their own side and write those few lines to them because they don't have the time for it.
Hmm.
So the thing is that all they're thinking when they're in business is how to promote the brands, not themselves.
Hmm.
Now the problem, and I think now people are waking up to it because now there's so many women groups also
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
taking charge. So now what is really happening is the people who have immense experience in their roles, in the boardrooms or otherwise, are the people who can be perfect mentors, who can be perfect life coaches, who can be perfect motivational speakers, who can be perfect in many other ways,
Yeah.
consultation for that matter. It's just that they have not thought about it,
Right,
or
right.
they have not been given a chance for it. The people who are also in the business, or I would say that it could also be there, the business is also coming out of from some passion. So
Mm-hmm.
if they're running a fitness brand, it is because of their passion towards fitness.
Right.
If it is so, if they have passions which are like sort of, not really coming out, like where they are speaking up and their personality is shining out, then obviously this is also an area, gray area, where they can walk and they can talk.
Hmm.
So they may be talking about have this kind of a cookie or have this kind of a protein bar or have this kind of a shake, but what about them and their own lifestyle regime? They're
Yeah.
not talking about it. And therefore I feel that personal branding is so important, that people do want to know who's behind the brand and who's holding that position.
Yeah, 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 I agree. That,
So
I think, again, like we spoke earlier, adds authenticity to the entire thing because you know who is this person. It's not just something coming out of space. It is somebody real, somebody like you and I who's doing it. So it makes sense to, come out in the open and talk about yourself as well. All right. So, a very interesting thing. Now, your philosophy of AEIOU. Very interesting. Awareness, enthusiasm, intent, opportunity, upbringing. Now, this is truly fascinating. So, the question is, how did this framework emerge and how does it influence the way you hire, lead, and mentor?
So the seed is from somebody who's just shared about his jugaad or whatever on AEIOU. But yes, I credit goes to that person. But having said that, you know what? When we hire people, we hire for certain functions or positions in the office. So if I want a graphic designer, for obvious reasons, I will get all resumes of graphic designers. If I want to hire a website developer, I will get all resumes of website developer. So that is sorted. That is, in a way it is sorted. But now after working and after seeing also and having my fingers burned and many other things, I've realized with employees and hiring and many other things, came down to this framework because let's put it this way, who are the people you want to work with, or who are the people you want to be surrounded by? Bottom line is that, Sangeeta, that people want to work, their productivity will increase or the success rate will only increase if they have the kind of people, um, who are like them, but who they would like to be with.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's actually hiring the right person. There is nothing called right person, but hiring, I'm this kind of a person. If I'm a perfectionist or I like closures or I want things done in a certain way, then I want people around me should also bring that energy level,
yeah, yeah,
right? So AEIOU is nothing but somebody, if I feel, so now I can do a rating from 1 to 5 on how aware that person is, what kind of energy levels that person or enthusiasm that person brings on the table. I can talk about that person's intent, whether he really wants it or is it just a job for that person.
mhm,
I also want to see the kind of opportunities he has had in his life before, or how he can even in the conversation think of an opportunity from doing something new.
mhm.
And upbringing, I mean, we do sometimes check in personal rounds that how many members in the family, are you planning to get married, or those kind of questions kind of can come. But I think more than that, it's just about, tell me about what your parents do, what does your brother do. So a little ahead of, not just, I don't want to know quantity wise, how many people in the family
Yeah,
or
yeah.
where do you stay, But let's talk about how you've been like, what was your childhood like?
Right,
You
right.
know, because upbringing can also make a lot of difference. There are people who join who are from different backgrounds, engineers, doctors, or army, defense. So sometimes it's not because I want to be judgmental. It's just that I feel that the job role that they're going to take up may require that kind of strengths.
Correct.
That's all.
Okay. So, Preeti, moving on. Now, this is another chapter, in your journey, in your life, which is that now you've consciously moved towards social impact work, even when it wasn't the most lucrative choice. So, before we get into more details, what I want to know is what inner shift helped you trust that decision?
So, it so happens that when you start working with a particular industry or sector, say you are doing all luxury clients,
Hmm.
then you do one, you do two, and you start getting automatically, the universe works in your favor and gives you all luxury clients. Or say if you're working in technology, then all tech clients, or likewise health and pharma or wellness. So I just say one thing. I've never said no to work.
Hmm.
I've never said no to anything actually that's come my way. I've tried to pick up every, even if it is the smallest of the job. I've never said no. I don't know that's a good thing or a bad thing. Nowadays, I think everybody's saying that learn to say no. But when it comes to work, yes, learn to say no, definitely in many other areas. But when it comes to work, I've never said no to work that's coming in, like
Okay.
somebody who wants a job done. And so it so happened that I started getting clients who were in places like in NGOs, foundations, trust, whether it is to do with disability, whether it is to do with weight loss, mental health, or relation with weight loss. There was this whole thing on Ozempic
Hmm.
recently. So that again becomes like, and I've always felt that these are also trending. It is not just that you cannot take any of the social impact stories in silo, because what is happening is also some of these stories are making news, trending news on the
Right,
internet.
right, right.
So
Hmm.
it's not like you will say that mental health is somebody who's doing work on mental health is something to do with only social impact. Mental health is very much the kind of content that is there available on in Instagram today. So sports, again, disability plus sports. So I worked with IPSA,
Hmm.
Indian Blind Sports Association, and we were able to do marvelous job on the public relations front in times when the landscape has changed so much in public relations, where people don't want to really write about sports, and that also disability,
Hmm.
visual impairment. So but we did it because simply because it is again, you have to look at the success of your client as your own success. You
Yeah.
have to look at their work as a challenge that you have to overcome. Once you start thinking in those lines, once you start changing your perception, then this is something I need to do,
Hmm.
or this needs to be done. Obviously then you will start working towards it, and then I started getting this. And I think now when I look at a pool of such clients, who are into social impact, I feel that I've done meaningful work.
Right, right,
You
right.
will not come to know about this when you do a particular client and a particular project. You will only come to know once you've done or finished doing few of them at least, in
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
year. And we got awarded, and when we got awarded by Exchange for Media Do Good Awards, there were so many other beautiful campaigns led by other agencies, other brands, CSR projects. Even Sabera, what Suparna is doing, Suparna Chadda and Sabera is bringing together the, again, social impact work, development work. So I see that it's not me alone, it's just like if I buy a blue car today, I will start seeing all blue cars, of the same shade. So I think this is something that naturally flows, that whatever you pick and make that your choice, you will start realizing and noticing everything around you more of that.
Yes, yes.
starts happening.
And
And that's exactly what happened with social
it's not
impact.
always about the money. It is also about the purpose, the impact. You see, looking at it, like in a, how should I say, in a larger canvas where you're only not talking about making money in life, but you're also talking about making some kind of an impact, or in a way, giving back to the
Yeah.
whole society,
So,
right?
Sangeeta, I never try to question the money. I only try to question the SOW at the end of the day, how much I can deliver in that money.
Right.
Because there's no point in going to the client saying this budget is low and I can't do. It's
Yeah.
only saying that okay, this budget is low, this is what I can do. Take it or leave it. That's how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
That's fair, fair. So now your new venture, as I said, House of Sodesii and the cultural identity. So another feather to your cap. Now this is
Hmm.
about reclaiming the sari and reviving handlooms. Now, why do you believe that clothing and especially the sari is a powerful statement for working women today? I mean, I totally agree with it because I am like that. I am a sari person, so I can
Yeah.
totally relate to it. But what are your views on it?
My only statement is that we need more women to wear saris.
Hmm.
As simple as I don't see women are shifting obviously because of fashion trends, many other reasons, convenience, comfort, that they're moving into, many different kind of outfits and attires. But sari being our national formal dressing, the Indian dressing, is something that I would want more women to wear saris.
Right.
Period. There's really nothing before or after this statement. Why? Because I started wearing saris, or I started liking saris because I saw my mother wearing it because she
Hmm.
was a teacher. Till you don't have somebody in your house or somebody you look up to who's wearing that outfit, it will not even cross your mind.
Yeah,
As simple as.
yeah.
And and I also feel that like how, I mean, this is a very this thing that this was how they teach you ki chai banana aana chahiye, yeah, simple things you should know. A sari is not difficult to wear. Let
No,
me
I
just put
agree.
it.
I
I'm not
totally agree.
comparing it to. I'm saying that yes, a lot of people have moved to even ready to wear saris because of whatever reasons. But knowing how to wear a sari, if you know, you can teach others also. When
Yes.
I did not know how to wear a sari, you won't believe it, one of my colleague in office helped me tie a sari in the washroom,
Hmm.
uh,
Mhm.
because she was a dancer, and I mean she's a dancer, and she knows how to where to pin it up and how well to, so that it doesn't move. And that is how I learned draping the sari, from her, and then seeing my mother and all of that. If I don't get this help around, I will never learn.
Yeah. Fair,
So
fair.
what about the other generations, who are going to come by and
Yeah.
how so this is my only thing, and I turned sari into my business simply because a lot of people used to compliment me for my saris, and this is like, where is it from? And it looks lovely and all that. And I was like, okay, here's a business idea. Let's just do it.
Why not? Why not?
So why not? Why not turn it into a business? And then the business went into one step further into advocacy,
Wonderful.
saying that it is not just about I'm selling products here. It's just about that I want you to please pay attention to this. This is a tradition being passed from grandmothers to mothers to children and beyond. And who's going to take it forward? Who's going to, and staying in Delhi, being a very cosmopolitan city, we don't have a Delhi sari,
Yeah.
like Maharashtrian sari. So all the more reason that it is a place where you can bring saris from all over India into Delhi,
Yes.
the
That,
handlooms. And when I started doing this, my only thing was because I love traveling. So I started traveling to places, getting saris from the looms, from meeting the weavers. But it was a very personalized kind of a thing that I'll pick up 20 hand-picked saris and I'll show this 20 selection first to
yeah.
my customer base. And so the whole structure was in a manner that it is a very personalized experience for even the customers,
Yes.
what they are.
Imagine.
Yeah. So that's how it all started, and it's doing well. I mean, we just
Yes, I can
we
see that. I can see
it's
that.
doing well as a business also. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, as I said, women are known to be resilient, to be courageous, to be determined. And even if life throws curveballs at us, of course, at that point, that affects us deeply. But then we have that in us to move on from there, right? So I'm coming to this personal life experience of yours where you lost your husband during COVID. Now, this I'm sure was definitely life altering, as I said. But if you had to describe the woman you became after that moment, who do you think she is today?
I think you have mentioned so many things already, from resilience to grit and courage and all that. So I'd really not say that.
Mm.
But what I will say is that it's been 5 years now.
Hmm.
It's going to be 5 years in 26, not yet. I think I've become an independent person.
Yes.
I've become an independent person who has to take her own decisions and be responsible for those decisions. And I think I don't want people to go through what I went through as a struggle and tragedy and the things that I went through. But I just, because I know the place where I was and now today, I just want to say that if every woman is independent or feels independent, it's a big, it's a power.
Yes.
It's a power in itself. I'm
Yes.
not again breaking it down into financial independence or some other independence. I'm just saying, think of yourself like the way they say, spiritually also, that you come alone and you go alone. For some time, think of yourself alone
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and feel that power and feel that independence. Feel the freedom. You don't owe it to anybody. You don't owe it to anybody but yourself.
Yep. Yep.
And start thinking like that. So I was pushed in that, but even if you're not pushed into that, you can still, think like that.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. And that's a very, very, that's something which is like, I think needs to be impressed upon everybody that, yes, you come alone, you go alone. So learn to exist alone also. This independence, whatever it may be, all kinds of independence, emotional, financial, everything. I think that's very, very important. Making choices, being responsible, that sense of agency, all that has to be there. And like you said, you don't have to wait for an experience like this to teach you that, but you should equip yourself. And like they say, the sooner the better. Yeah. All right.
Totally.
So, Preeti, you speak so beautifully about struggle, awakening, giving surrender, and gratitude as well. So, which phase in your life was the hardest and which really and truly, transformed you?
So we all go through phases. We go through struggles. Sometimes the words are, when we speak, the words obviously are ours, like my words. The voice is mine, but the thought is not mine. It
Yeah.
also, like, something is controlling you, something is making you speak. It doesn't happen that when you go on stage and you start speaking and you just do such a fantastic job that you can't believe that, did I do it?
Hmm.
Was it me? How did this idea come into my head? How did I deliver so beautifully? How could I even go with this flow? As if somebody else is making you do, or
Yeah.
is there some controlling thing? So I'm just giving that kind of example, which happens in general to a lot of people.
Hmm.
But yes, when the struggles are very, very, very hard, that time also we take decisions, and sometimes those decisions are not uh, taken by us like what we
Yeah.
think, but it's just happens. And then obviously going through stages of awakening where you feel responsible for things, where your subconscious mind will tell you that you shouldn't have done this, or this is wrong, or this is what you did. And I think the hardest is when that inner voice tells you, shows you the fact, shows you the reality But you can't change the past. You can't do anything about it now. It's out of your hands. You don't have control over it.
Hmm.
And that is the hardest because the only thing you can do is accept.
Yeah, yeah.
If my parents are a certain way, if my child is a certain way, if people around me are a certain way, my employees are a certain way, and I'm realizing things about them, is the hardest is to accept.
Yeah, yeah.
So awakening or this inner voice will tell you that. And if you look at again surrender or gratitude, I think people go through phases, like there was a book on stages of after grief, after
Yeah.
somebody passes, and there's stages. I don't say that there's stages of grief. I just say that everybody has to go through some stages. You can label it whatever as you may please. Gratitude is obviously something that is transforming for me.
Hmm.
The minute you see that there is somebody who's doing more, who's giving more, who is larger than life, what happens is it makes one feel smaller. I feel I have not done enough. I feel I have not learned enough. I feel I keep saying this, I'm so and so, but I'm not. So keeping that, in your thing, that the more people you meet who are higher up than
Hmm.
you always keep at transforming yourself.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you've reached a very high pedestal in life, you will not have that urge or that inclination to do anything bigger than that, no?
Yeah.
So the urge will come only once you meet such people. And I just wish everybody in their lives that they find such people.
Yes. Because yes,
And
transformation is a continuous process. You don't stop transforming, you don't stop changing. And the more people you meet like that, like we mentioned earlier on, who can be your role models, who can be inspirational, they're only egging you on, pushing you on to change. So, yes, transformation is something that, happens constantly. All right. So moving on to the younger generation, which we've spoken about a few times, during the course of this conversation. Now, as I understand, you've observed a growing sense of giving up among the youngsters. So, if there is one message you want women and young people listening today or watching this episode today to carry forward, what would it be?
we have Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatnot these days. And I hear a lot parenting talks, that are going around about children or around children and their behavior. And even now, because we are hiring a lot of younger lot in the organization as well. So we have to be very mindful about the way they think and the way they like to work. So
Right.
that is happening. So that change, we are also trying to accept and change ourselves to the changing times. But main thing, I still feel that, if you're given something to do, it's very important that irrespective, no matter what, take it as a challenge.
Hmm.
Take it as a challenge, overcome the challenge. Don't give up is not that the child or the person is giving up as a person, but
Hmm.
it's about not giving up the work, because till you don't complete that ring, you will not know that what you're capable of.
Right, right.
And if you do it once or twice or number of times, that what will happen, it will bring negativity on the table. It will not charge you positively, in the sense that we want to always tell our younger lot that stay positive,
Hmm.
there is hope, and that hope and positive only comes from accomplishing something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So accomplishing something is very important. And like I even mentioned earlier, that a job, if I'm working on a client's work, or anything, I mean, because I can't be always there
Yeah, yeah.
as, but it's the team I need to empower to take forward, and, the plans and the execution and everything. If they understand this little thing about that, if the client will grow and succeed, you will succeed.
Yes, yes.
Your success is in the client's success. Understand that.
Yeah.
Don't tell them algorithms, don't tell them things they don't understand. You have to make it happen for them. That should be the bottom line.
Yes.
Then don't be messengers ki, ye nahi hua because of this and that and the other. Nowadays, this thing of just people are bringing transparency that, okay, I have said, I have told them, but transparency is not enough. They need to take charge.
Yes.
So what I feel is that yes, if you want to succeed, you can succeed every single day.
Yes, you can.
And you have to stay positive.
Absolutely.
Because life will throw things at you. And
Yes.
every time the throws at you, you will be always disoriented, or you will always fall off, or you will always feel ki kuch hai nahi, So why bring that kind of a, thing in the picture, that environment actually?
Right. So I think
So,
challenges, accepting challenges, doing your task, performing to the best of your ability, owning up, agency, all these things are very, very important. And like you said, you can succeed every day. If there is a challenging task, if there is something that you feel you can't do it. You never know, because that sense of accomplishment is, of course, that feeling that you get, and then it equips you to do more, to accept more challenges. So I think that's very, very important, to stay positive, stay focused, own up to what you're doing. I think that is something that not only the youngsters, but even others, everybody, I think, needs to understand and accept. So yeah. So, Preeti, while we've come to the end of the conversation, we still have the rapid fire round, which is five
oh my,
quick questions, five quick answers. So, are you ready for it?
I
Yes?
hope so.
Well, I think
Shoot,
so. All right. So, the first one word that best describes the woman you are today.
independent,
Wonderful. The next one, a belief you once held strongly but have now outgrown.
judging people,
Okay. Next, the first thing you do when self doubt creeps in.
listen to podcast
All,
about her.
all right. Thank you so much. Okay. Next one.
Yeah.
One habit that keeps you grounded on chaotic days.
Habit of having coffee, more caffeine.
All right. And the last one. Complete this sentence. I feel most powerful when I.
Surrounded by wisdom.
Okay. So when you're surrounded by wisdom. All right. So thank you so much. Wonderful conversation, hugely inspirational, so many takeaways, so many things to learn from you as a person, what you said, what you've been through. I think, and like I always say, every individual and especially every woman has a story that one can learn from. And I think your story, the various twists and turns it has taken, and how you have come out of all of those, and doing so many things, as I mentioned earlier, I think there's a huge, huge learning. So thank you so much for being here and for inspiring our listeners, our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for having me here. And it's been absolutely not only, like I said, sharing knowledge and insights. I hope your listeners take away something from what I just said.
I'm sure.
But for me, at a personal level, this only makes a better version of me. I mean, what can be even, more than that. So I'm grateful to you for this, that we are starting on this note. And thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the About Her show. If you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more from where that came from. Our previous guests have shared some amazing stories, so be sure to catch up on past episodes. To keep up with our inspiring conversations and to never miss an update, hit subscribe, rate, review, and share the love. Follow us on social media for some great content, and don't forget to check out our website www.aboutherbysangeeta.com for stories that resonate, inspire, and empower. Know a remarkable woman or an inspiring man blazing a trail? We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a note at web.abouther@gmail.com and let's bring their story to life on the About Her Show.